Hey Jack, welcome back to another episode of Englishpodcast. Today, we're diving into a really useful topic, everything about the kitchen. From objects to common phrases, expressions, and actions. Sounds fun, right?
Absolutely. Emma, kitchens are such a central part of the home, and we use so many English words in the kitchen that learners can benefit from. Let's start with the basics. First, what are the main items you find in a kitchen?
Great idea. So, in every kitchen, you usually have a stove or a cooker, an oven, a refrigerator or fridge, a freezer, and of course a sink. Sometimes you also have a microwave or a dishwasher.
Yeah, and don't forget the cupboards and drawers. That's where we store plates, bowls, cutlery like knives, forks, and spoons, as well as kitchen tools. Oh, and the countertop, or worktop depending if you're using American or British English.
Right, and let's break some of those down for our listeners. For example, the stove is where you cook things using fire or heat, and it usually has burners or hobs on top. The oven is used for baking or roasting. You might say, I baked cookies in the oven.
Exactly. And the fridge is where you store things that need to stay cool, like milk, fruits, or leftovers. Speaking of leftovers, that's a word many English learners find interesting. It means the food you didn't finish and save for later. You can reheat leftovers in the microwave.
Nice one. Now, let's go into the tools you use every day. For example, a cutting board, also called a chopping board, is where you cut vegetables, and of course, you need a good knife. Then you have things like a peeler for peeling vegetables, a grater for cheese, a whisk for beating eggs, and a ladle for serving soup.
Yep, and don't forget the spatula grate for flipping pancakes or stirring. There's also a colander, which is used to drain pasta or vegetables. A strainer is similar, but often smaller.
And we also have baking tools like a rolling pin, measuring cups, and mixing bowls. When you're baking, it's really important to be precise, so you'll also hear phrases like level off the flour or preheat the oven to 180 degrees.
That's so true. And in the kitchen, we use tons of verbs. For instance, boil, bake, fry, grill, chop, slice, dice, pour, stir, blend, mix, season, marinate, and roast. Each one has a specific meaning. For example, chop means to cut roughly, and dice means to cut into small cubes.
Yes, and you can say, I diced the onions and then sauteed them in olive oil. By the way, saute means to cook something quickly in a little bit of oil or butter over medium-high heat. It's a fancy word, but used a lot.
Totally. And we also say things like bring to a boil, simmer for 10 minutes, or let it cool down. These are useful phrases when reading recipes or watching cooking videos.
And kitchen idioms, don't even get me started. Like too many cooks foil the broth, which means if too many people are involved in something, it might go wrong.
Oh yeah. Or if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, meaning if you can't handle pressure. Maybe step back. There's also everything but the kitchen sink, used when someone brings way too much stuff.
I love those, all right. How about the cleaning side of the kitchen? You've got dish soap, sponge, scrubber, dish rack, and drying towel. After cooking, you usually wash the dishes, wipe down the counters, and maybe take out the trash or clean the stove.
And let's not forget meal names. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and also snacks. You can set the table before a meal and clear the table afterward. A common phrase is what's for dinner. You'll hear that in every home.
Definitely. Also, drinks are part of the kitchen to tea kettle. coffee maker, mugs, and glasses. You can brew tea or make a cup of coffee. Some people even have a blender for smoothies or a juicer.
Speaking of drinks, don't forget the refrigerator often has a compartment for cold drinks or a built-in water dispenser. And ice tray. You can say, "Can you get some ice from the freezer?"
So much vocabulary. This is a gold mine for English learners. Maybe in the next part we can role-play cooking a meal and using these phrases naturally.
Jack, I love that idea, Emma. But before we do that, let's review a few quick phrases people might hear in the kitchen.
Alright, let's go over some everyday kitchen phrases people might hear or use.
Sure, one very common one is help yourself, like when someone offers food and says, "The food's ready. Help yourself." It means you're free to take what you want.
That's a good one. Another is dig in. It's informal and fun. It means start eating. Like when everyone's waiting and someone says, "Okay, dig in." It gives a warm, casual vibe.
Also, when someone is cooking, they might say things like "give it a stir" or "keep an eye on the pot." Those are simple but useful. Keep an eye on means to watch something carefully so it doesn't burn or boil over.
Exactly. And phrases like "I'm whipping something up" mean you're making a quick meal or snack. It sounds casual and fast, like "I'm whipping up some eggs before work."
And when someone is very hungry, they might say "I'm starving." Or "I could eat a horse." Not literally, of course. It's just exaggeration to show hunger.
Haha, definitely. Now let's talk about what we say during the meal. For example, if something tastes really good, we say "this is delicious" or "it's so tasty." And if something doesn't taste good, politely, you can say "it's not really my taste" or "it's a bit too salty for me."
Or even "it's a bit bland," which means it has no strong flavor. You can also compliment the cook with, "You're a great cook," or "What's your recipe?"
Love those. And if you're full, you can say "I'm stuffed" or "I couldn't eat another bite." Very common after a big meal.
Oh, and don't forget leftovers, which we talked about earlier. People say, "Let's save the leftovers for tomorrow," or "Can I take some leftovers home?"
So many useful words and phrases around the kitchen. I think our listeners are going to love this episode.
Yeah, and we've only just begun. In the next part, I think we should walk through an imaginary day in the kitchen, maybe starting from making breakfast all the way to cleaning up after dinner.
Great idea, Jack. We can use real-life dialogues and expressions and show how they sound in natural speech.
All right, let's get ready for that next part. Listeners, stay with us. This is just getting started. Your English is going to get stronger one kitchen word at a time.
Talk soon in the next part. All right, Jack, let's jump into that next part. Imagine it's a Sunday morning. You walk into the kitchen, still sleepy. What's the first thing you do?
Easy. I go straight to the kettle and say, "I'm gonna put the kettle on." That means I'm making tea or coffee. And while the water's boiling, I might grab a frying pan and say, "Let's fry up some eggs."
Perfect. Then maybe you hear someone say, "Can you pass me the spatula?" Or the toast is burning. Those moments are full of useful kitchen language.
Yep. And after breakfast, someone probably says, "Who's doing the dishes?" Or "Let's load the dishwasher." That's when everyone suddenly disappears.
Haha, so true. Then lunch comes around and you hear phrases like "let's prep the veggies" or "I'll chop the onions." Maybe even "let's marinate the chicken."
Oh, and don't forget dinner. By then someone might say, "Let's set the table," or "Dinner's ready. Come and eat." These little phrases make conversations flow naturally.
And once everything's over, we end with "thanks for the meal" or "that was amazing." It's always polite to thank the cook.
So, if our listeners start using even a few of these phrases in their kitchen every day, they'll not only improve their vocabulary, they'll sound more natural, too.
Exactly. Learning English isn't just about textbooks, it's about real moments like cooking, eating, and laughing with others.
Well said. All right, that's a wrap for today's episode.
Thanks for joining us on English Podcast. We'll see you in the next one, where we'll be diving into more daily life conversations.
Keep practicing, and remember, small phrases, big progress.